Hello, everyone, and welcome to the New View podcast. My name is Mac.
And my name is Megan.
Come along with us as we dive into the world of competitive Irish dancing and beyond,
sharing perspectives, developing community, and learning from each other.
We hope you enjoy.
I am so excited to welcome Maria Maxwell to New View. I've known Maria for quite a while, but it's truly a pleasure to be introducing her on New View today. So, not only is Maria a very accomplished and talented dancer, she's an incredibly smart leader in the world of Irish dancing and training. And she has created the Movement and Mobility by Maria, along with Stretch and Strengthen with Mackenzie Mahler, our other host here at New View. And Maria knows how to build a business and how to make an impact in the Irish dance world. So we are very excited to talk to her today. And Maria, to get us started, will you just kind of tell us a bit about your dancing journey and how you got to where you are now, how things are looking from a business perspective, dancing perspective, whatever you want to share.
Yeah, I'm super excited to chat with you guys. As both of you know, I'm super love to chat about all things dance, so I'm excited to get to kind of share my little journey and what's going on in our world. But yeah, I've been dancing for ever and ever and ever. I started when I was probably, I think, 5. And I grew up in Grand Prairie, which is about 8 hours north of Calgary, Alberta, if anyone knows where that is. So it's pretty like remote by itself. There's not really an Irish dancing scene here. So my first dancing school was actually based out of a different city, even 2 more hours north of where I am. And so we traveled a ton for dance. And I think that's where I really learned a lot of like dedication. And like, I was like, if this is going to be my sport, I need to be all in. And like, I'm super grateful to like my mom and my sister who were always there with me. And we're like, we will get this done. And we will like go to the practices and we'll drive wherever we need to. So that was super cool. And then in 2012, I switched schools to a school based in Edmonton. So still about 5 hours south of where I was. So I've never actually lived in the same city as my teachers until I was 21, which I think is a really unique experience. But yeah, I've just loved to compete and be in the studio. I actually love the studio so much, and I love being able to like train and work hard and just like evolve in the studio so much. Yeah, but my relationship with dance and competing has really evolved over the last couple years. And as I've really honed in my why and my love of dance, because like being an adult and coming out of university, let's be real, it's hard to like stay committed and like want to keep going when there's so much going on in life. And so my love and like why has had to become really solid over the past few years. That's for sure. Yeah.
It sounds like through kind of those formative years, like when you started dancing and you were younger and traveling a ton, that probably kind of created and instilled in you like how to be really passionate and committed. And now at this point in your life that you're older, out of school and all of that, that's probably coming back as like something that's quite helpful. Do you feel that at
Yeah.
all?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I'm definitely the type, you can ask other people, my family, sisters, Mac. I'm definitely the type that's like all in or all out. So like you won't find me doing anything halfway. It's gonna be the full thing. So yeah, I've just really loved being in this world, and I think it's so a unique world that can just like translate into so many different areas of life. But yeah, I've loved being
Yeah,
in it.
it sounds like dancing is really, I mean, we hear from people all the time that it's like great in terms of building skills that are, yes, really good for dancing, like commitment and hard work, but that, like you said, that just transfer to kind of every aspect of life. And for you, that probably includes more like physical training now, because I know you're all about that. Will you kind of tell us how you got involved with that and how it's active in your life now? And I know it ties back to dance, but for everyone who hasn't heard all about it, please share.
Yeah. I feel like my first real like face to face with physical training outside of dance and like finding this world was getting injured. And we've all had our like fair share of things and injuries. But when I was 16, I had my first major injury of breaking a bone in my foot, and I broke the sesamoid, which for anyone who loves anatomy like me, it's this tiny little bone in the bottom of your foot that's um, used to really distribute the force through your big toe. So as you can imagine, that takes like a really big toll on you. Um, and that experience just like really rearranged my perspective of dancing for a long time and my approach to training and choreography. Um, and I had to really turn to cross training sometimes to help me get through and be strong enough to dance. And it also was a period when I just felt really discouraged and almost abandoned by my body. And so being able to turn to strength and conditioning or turn to like yoga and recovery practices was kind of my way of being like, well, if I can't fully dance or if something's like really hurting, I have these other outlets now that I can use that are going to help me become stronger. And I was really fortunate to have a strength coach and teachers in high school who were super close to me and were always on my side and really helped me find ways to support myself that were going to make me stronger without causing more harm to my body, because I told them, I was like, I'm not giving this up. Like, I don't want to give up dance. I don't want this to be like the end of me. So like, I need a solution. And they were fortunate enough to come back to me with a solution, and we worked through it. And I think that was my first point of being like, I want to do this, and like this seems really cool to be able to help other people do that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when you have like a really good relationship with the people who then help you, it kind of instills that like, oh, I'm empowered to then transition in my life and like help others feel the same way. And I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of us have that experience in dancing of like, oh, I have great teachers and I've had so many great experiences. I want to help others, but it sounds like not only have you had that in dance, but also kind of in terms of training as like, oh, I want to be there to support. And you have kind of a unique perspective on things where you're not just exclusively training, you're not just exclusively dancing. You
Mm-hmm.
have a cool perspective where you can kind of mix both. So now at this point in your life, are you kind of transitioning into that? Okay, how can I combine dancing with training and use my skills and knowledge to then empower people in the same way that I was empowered?
Yeah, I've kind of taken all this love of like dance and then what I've done with school and wanted to just like build my own thing. And I think when I was in school, I didn't even really notice that that's kind of what I was taking in, of like everything I would learn. I'd be like, oh, okay, like how can I apply this to myself? Or like, how am I going to use this in my dancing career? Like, oh, that's kind of interesting to know. And like, let's relate that back. And now getting to kind of share it with the world and with other people, I think is really really cool. And one of the biggest things I found is like the more attention I pay to my own body, and so whether that's being like reading something or listening to something, being like, hey, how can I turn that back to myself, it also just like makes my dancing feel better and my body feel more resilient. So I'm hoping that with all this stuff that I'm like experimenting on myself, and seeing the results come back well, that I can then bring that forward and be like, hey, like I have evidence to say this works. And like, I know everyone's not the same and maybe it won't work for you, but like, here's something that you could try that might change the trajectory of where you're going, especially for people that I find are in like a plateau. Sometimes dancers like skyrocket up to the top really fast and then they hit a plateau, or maybe you're more like just a plateau off the beginning and you don't really know like how you're going to get out of that rut, and you just like you want to have something more but nothing seems to be working. So this is our chance to like try to build something new, I guess.
Absolutely. And I think that happens to a lot of people where you either get to a point and, you drop off, or you just aren't quite sure what you need to do differently to improve. Maybe you're practicing a ton and working on all areas, but not really seeing that kind of improvement, or like you have more in you, but you just don't
Mm-hmm.
know how to give it. And it's so exciting. Like it makes me excited just sitting here talking about like, oh, like yes, you can always do more. Not in the sense of like, oh, I'm not enough as I am now, but in a sense of, wow, like I'm so capable of growing my strength and I can be so much better with all of these kinds of work that I'm sure a lot of people don't spend too much time thinking about. So it's really cool that you're like creating resources and digging into that. And I'm sure just exciting too when you feel it paying off in your own dancing, because I know that excitement of, oh, maybe I've fixed a correction on myself, and then I look for other kids in the class to be like, oh, I like developed this helpful little trick. I'm going to pass it on to you. That feels very good for me. So I'm sure from your perspective, it's twofold in that you can do that in dancing and in strength coaching, where you're like, oh, I have so many tips to help you get even better, you know. That's really cool. So good for you. With that in mind, can you kind of tell us how projects for you are looking right now and where things are going, what you're working on, and all of that?
Yeah, like what are we not working on? Let's be real. I'm the one that's like laying in bed at night thinking of a million big ideas. But my main project right now is Stretch and Strengthen. So it's a virtual slash in person, depending on where you live, holistic training platform that we've built by dancers. So myself and Mac have kind of designed the whole program, and we've built it for dancers and with dancers in mind. And so we're entering our third year this fall, which is super exciting. And we're launching our newest programs that are tailored to meet everyone's needs at as a dancer. And so our big goal was to create a place where everything could just fall into one. For a long time myself, I always felt, and maybe that's growing up too in a more rural community that was like removed from bigger centers, I felt like I was constantly trying to explain myself to people on like what Irish dancing felt like and what I needed from people. I would go to like doctors or physio and be like, this is what I need, but no one could really like comprehend what that felt like. And so I think our unique perspective coming from that, we're in this era with you, and like we know what this world feels like. We understand every situation that you've been in. We know what that feels like to be in your shoes. I think is a really unique angle that we can offer. And so we're combining strength and conditioning, wellness and recovery. So think like yoga, stretching, foam rolling, all that other recovery jazz, mental skills, mindset training, one-on-one coaching, group coaching, and just kind of a way for it to be like a mentorship for dancers. Um, yeah, so this is just a space for all of us to come together and learn how to train efficiently so that maybe you have a better outcome than I did, and you can just find this world a little bit younger and just have that like strong foundation right off the bat.
Absolutely. That's really cool. And I think as you're talking, I'm hearing like you're creating modern solutions for what is like a modern sport, and yet we still don't have like a lot of resources and helpful like guidance to be there for not just older kids but younger kids too, who are coming up and need that strength training and mindset work to have longevity in this. It's really exciting to hear that you and Mac and all of these people are so passionate about just creating a place to cater to dancers' needs and just create like life within Irish dancing. Because not only are you physically training and mentally training, that's like creating community too, a sense of belongingness, I would say, in like, oh, I feel heard when I ask about like I need help working on my turnout, or I'm really tight in whatever area where maybe your typical kind of physio or doctor does not quite know how to cater to Irish dance. It's so unique and exciting that there's like finally a place for that. I think a lot of people will really be quite excited about that. So good for you. I mean, I'm sure the Irish dancing world is going to love this even more than I am right now. So that's really, really cool. Maria, where can people find you and like get involved with your work and learn more about you and all that you're offering?
Yeah, so we have a new website. It's called stretchxstrengthen.com, and I'm sure Megan can add it into the notes. And you can find us on Instagram at the same name. But yeah, that's just where we are going to house all of our stuff. All of our programs and memberships and stuff are all through there. And then you can always chat with us one on one. But yeah, this is just our way that we want to be able to utilize all of the knowledge that we've gained ourselves through like school and just be able to put it out there to the world. so that everyone can just have hopefully the most like long and successful career possible. I know for myself, like at 24 right now, this is like the healthiest I've ever felt, knock on wood, because I've been able to find this balance of like what it means to be strong, but also be flexible, but have power, but have endurance. Like there's just so many little like grasps and like, oh, now I need to like think about what I'm thinking about during stage and like how do I feel confident in myself. So being able to just like integrate all the skills together into like one piece, I think is a way more accessible way for people to just like feel a little bit more connected and hopefully feel a little bit more confident in that what you're doing is right, and that we can just take what is already within you and all the strengths that you already have within you and just enhance them even more. Just have you shine brighter on stage or in class or wherever you find yourself.
Lovely. Well, Maria, thanks for putting together all these like puzzle pieces of Irish dance and helping us to all feel more connected. I'm super excited to like see where things go and be involved with this and just keep learning from you. So it's such a pleasure to talk to you, and I'm so excited for everyone to listen to this and learn.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and we're super excited to work with any and everyone who wants to come and try something new with us. We have some new promos going on during September, so if you're looking to try something new, come hang out with us and we'll see what we can do.
Thanks for joining us in this episode of the New View podcast. We hope you enjoyed.
If you have any ideas about future guests we should interview or want to connect, you can find us on Instagram at newview.collective or email us at newviewcollective.mm@gmail.com.